Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It is a Monday. We'll have JC and Scott Carter. Got a lot to talk about today. A lot of stuff happening in baseball, NFL, college football, and we'll talk Gators as well. If you missed it last night, the Bengals win 17-7 over the Giants. The Mets get clobbered 9-0 to the Dodgers. Yankees Guardians, I think, play today. Let's go to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. And this guy, his NFL team stink. He's a Jaguar fan. He's a Dallas Cowboy fan. And his college team snuck one out.
Almost lost. Tough.
But your Yankees are doing great, JC.
That's right. That's right. Well, today is game one of the American League Championship Series, and Dodgers, man, they have I think gone 30 innings, QB, without surrendering a run here in the last three games. Last three games, excuse me. They won games 4 and 5 against the Padres, shutting them out basically, and then of course last night. So, man, they look tough. But hey, it's a lot of baseball still left. The Mets are not going to just roll over, I don't think. So 7-game series, lots of baseball to play. QB, watching that game Saturday night, the amount that I could watch, you get inside the red zone 4 times. I'm sure you've been through this already in your head, but you got to come away with points. And, just a 12 men on the field, taking away 3 points there before the half. This is emblematic of what Florida fans have had to watch in the last 3 years. This is just...
I'll give my opening statement on the game. And then people can do what they want to do with it. And again, everybody's an expert, right? Everybody's an expert.
We're just watching the game.
No. JC, let's be honest. Everybody's an expert. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody thinks they know everything. Okay, here's mine. I thought it was the best played game, the best game plan on both sides of the ball that the Gators have had under Billy Napier and his staff.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean you're going to win the game. Were there still critical errors, critical calls that cost you the game? Yes. But from a scheme standpoint, I thought it was clearly the best that we've had since we've been here. They're playing defensively against Nico, which everybody's going to do moving forward. If you look at his stats against SEC play, it is abysmal. I mean, it is terrible. Teams are going to force him to throw the football. He may prove me wrong. But after watching him, JC, he's those guys that coaches fall in love with, that we all know, that can throw it 65, 70 yards. They'll make a couple of great throws, but 90% of the time, they're not. He stares down people. He can't handle the rush. I think Tennessee's got a lot of problems with him at quarterback. But I don't give a damn about Tennessee. I thought our defense was outstanding.
Right.
I thought we mixed it up. We played different players that got after the quarterback. And then offensively, I thought our plan was great. Obviously, we had a couple of fourth down calls. The 4th and 1 was a power read. Initially, I thought it was just a jet sweep. It was not. It was the power read where you ride the jet sweep guy. Quarterback has an option to pull it and run the power. DJ handed it off. They apparently said he made the right read. It didn't work. I had zero problem with the quarterback sneak on the 1-yard line. Give Graham credit for trying. He fumbled. But the problem with that play was the damn offensive line got blown up. It wouldn't have mattered if Cam Newton was the quarterback. He would not have scored. And it blows my mind that people say, why would you let Graham run a quarterback sneak? Graham's 225 pounds, okay? I was 180 pounds at the most and scored multiple times on quarterback sneaks. It's if your line gets pushed or not, okay? We got our ass blown up on that play, and it was a turnover. The really one that bothers me is at the end of the half.
Yeah.
There was 17 seconds left on the clock. We're in field goal range. You cannot take a sack. I don't know if anybody told Graham he cannot take a sack there because you have no timeouts. You're going to have to run your Mayday field goal team onto the field. That is the cutoff line. They've done studies. 17 seconds is the cutoff. Okay. Well, we run somebody out there. Apparently, one of the linemen got banged up. He was supposed to come out, but he stayed in, and we ran other people on. We had too many on the field. That cannot happen. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay.
Right.
But here's what I would say about the calls. Okay, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. Josh Heupel maybe had one of the dumbest calls I've ever seen in football history from his own 10-yard line. JC, did you see that?
I missed that one, but someone told me about it.
JC, the game is 10-10. He's on his own 10-yard line. It's 4th and 1, and he goes for it.
Someone told me he did that, and I was flabbergasted.
But here's the thing. Nobody in Knoxville is talking about it, right? Because they made it. Because they made the 4th down. Okay. So my point to the story is it doesn't matter if Billy Napier, Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, Josh Heupel, Lane Kiffin, whoever you want. Not every play works. And we've had some bad situations go against the Gators that did not work. So that's my thoughts. I thought it was a phenomenal effort by the players. I thought it was a great game plan by the coaches. A few errors here or there cost us the football game. And then should you have gone for 2? I thought they were going to go for 2. They lined up. Tennessee called timeout. You kicked it.
Yeah.
If we go for 2 and we don't make it, people are still bitching. So it's a no-win situation unless you go for 2 and you win it. So it's a shame we lost. It's a terrible loss. Graham Mertz is probably done for the year. So this is DJ Lagway from here on out.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a well-played game in a hard environment. I mean, Tennessee has done a lot of good things to their program, to their stadium. I thought the atmosphere was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss to swallow, but there's nothing you can do about it now.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said. I'm not into moral victories, though. I'll tell you that.
No, I'm not either. I mean, we lost the freaking game, so it doesn't matter.
But it's just, again, you just got to put the ball in the end zone when you're in the red zone, at least half the time. I mean, come on. And listen, I'm not going to nitpick it. They were ahead at halftime. They shut out Tennessee, in the first half. Defense, they played the best game that we've seen in a long time. And they made Tennessee uncomfortable, QB. But, he still ran the ball for 130-something yards, 120-something yards, 126, I think it was.
Yeah, but they were averaging like 280 a game.
Yeah, no, it's true. And that's really all they have. Now, they're going to feel a lot better about themselves after the next game they play because they will be able to move the ball in Alabama. When you see that Alabama defense play, you will get yourself some confidence, I think. That team was lucky to win. And, I thought LSU, they were somewhat lucky to win. Mississippi had them beaten, but they converted some clutch plays, QB, and that's what Nussmeier is. Yep. He's a clutch player.
He's the best. He's the best quarterback, in my opinion, in the league.
Well, he is definitely up there for sure, yeah. And, Texas is right now unbeaten. They really just didn't even have to really fight hard to beat Oklahoma, which is an awful offense. And then we saw those Vanderbilt Commodores, go on the road and win from start to finish. That was impressive. And I'll tell you what, Mississippi State may have found a kid that can throw the football a little bit. They scored a lot of points on Georgia.
Well, that was the game that surprised me most because the kid that you're talking about played against us and he couldn't hit a broadside of a barn.
No, but I think, he's practiced and I think he's got a very good coach.
Well, he was practicing before he played.
Yeah, I know, but he probably wasn't taking the majority of the snaps in practice. But the fact is that I think he's got a very capable and good head coach to help him get better. And maybe Mississippi State will win it more than 2 games. I don't know. But
they won't. They won't.
You don't think they will? Okay.
No, they'll beat UMass, but that's it.
Okay. Well, Texas right now, and
Texas is clear. Texas, though, to me, JC, I watched that game.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he didn't make a quarterback change because Quinn Ewers does not look healthy at all.
Yeah.
He does not look healthy to me at all. And if he was healthy, that game I don't even want to say it was close, but they kind of Texas sputtered around like the first half. It was still like 21-3 at half, but they didn't really do anything. It's because OU's offense was like turning it over. But Ewers was missing wide open guys. I mean, he was sailing the ball.
No, he's been out for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I thought he would have made a change because he just doesn't look healthy to me.
Yeah.
Blind Squirrel says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Oh, no, wait. Eat Chucky says, QB, I am an expert. If Nico was just a little bit accurate, UF would have gotten stomped. Wide receivers were running wild. Well, that's my point. They did have wide receivers running open, but that dude cannot hit them.
Yeah.
He can't hit them. I'm convinced there's
so surprising to me.
Well, if you look at his stats, I meant to pull them up today in SEC play against Oklahoma, against Arkansas, against the Gators.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's below 50%.
Yeah. That's good. That's
not even like 110 yards a game.
Yeah,
it's something. It's crazy. It would blow your mind. And I just don't know. From a Tennessee standpoint, they have not been the same offense since Hendon Hooker left. Oh. And Joe Milton was not the answer. I'm not sure this kid's the answer. But I don't give a damn about Tennessee.
Well, he'll probably have 5 touchdown passes against Alabama on Sunday.
Well, JC, this is me talking football here from when I don't watch the all 22. I watch the game tape. Alabama plays way too much man defense, cover 0. Way too much. Yeah. And you do that because you don't trust your front 7.
Right.
Which surprises me. But I think Kane Womack needs to realize he ain't coaching at South Alabama Conference USA, and he needs to keep the ball in front of him. So it'll be interesting. But I don't think that'll be a fun game to watch. All right.
I tell you, next week has got great games. Georgia's going to play at Texas. Texas they've never seen Georgia before, so we'll see if Georgia can play better.
Yeah,
they better play better defensively. QB. I'm surprised that Mississippi State was able to score that many points.
J&J Trucking says, QB, I feel like the play calling is a lot more soft when DJ's playing QB. I disagree with that. He calls a different game. He puts a lot of more zone reads in there. DJ pulled a couple, had some nice runs. DJ's going to be fine. He's a smart kid. He's a good football player. He's going to make mistakes. He tried to force a corner down the field, corner route that got intercepted, that got Tennessee back in the game. If he just hit the guy in the flat, the underneath guy, it would have been about a 12-yard game. But it's a learning curve. So
yeah, absolutely.
Jay Good says, why is Boring Billy still our coach? I think he's going to be your coach. Mike says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. Shane, if we get beat at home by Kentucky, then Napier's time is up. I mean, everybody's got their opinion. I don't know what to think anymore, so I'm not even going to comment on it.
Whether they win or lose, I think he's going to finish the season out, QB.
Christopher wants to know, do I think Lagway does not look comfortable in the pistol formation? No, when he lines up for every play, he looks the same to me. So it'll be his team the rest of the year.
Yeah, listen, Kentucky might be the easiest game from here on.
But they play us defensively. They give us fits.
They give you fits. They absolutely do, and they're going to try to run the ball.
Yeah, Robert at Fort Myers on the Titan Our text line says, UCF finally realized KJ Jefferson is a liability.
He's awful.
Yep. If Gus Malzahn had listened to this program about 2 weeks ago,
that's right.
I'm telling you, they still ain't going to win any games. I don't think they're very good.
That's right. That's absolutely right. You went 4-4, not bad. I went 5-3. You still have a 1-game lead on me, but we're both above 500, picking against the spread. And our
what were my losses?
Your losses were Georgia, Mississippi, Ohio State, and Pittsburgh.
I didn't take Ole Miss. I took LSU.
Well, I just watched it. You go back.
Watch it. I said I will take LSU, but Ole Miss will win the game. Go back and watch it.
Okay, so then I'm going to correct that and make you 42 and 42-34. Okay, so that puts you at 5-3 then.
Good thing we got fact checking here.
Well, I swear to God, I just watched it.
If you go watch it again when you're on the plane, it says, I think Ole Miss will win the game, but LSU will cover.
Okay, all right. I mean, I trust you, but I it is early here. Yeah, it's still dark It was 7 o'clock this morning. It was dark here in Dallas. I didn't go to the Red River. I was talked out of it because A, it was 95 degrees outside. B, not a cloud in the sky. C, there were 200,000 people down there. And I came to the Sheraton Hotel downtown, and they were all staying here too. But at any rate, I stayed away from that environment. I was talked out of it by Coach Ackerman, and we watched it at a wonderful bar there in Frisco. But I did go to the Dallas game yesterday, and what a show. Jerry puts on quite an illusion. It's an illusion. It's just all an illusion. It's all magic tricks, and it's, from the cheerleaders, 5 minutes of dancing before the game, to all of the things he's got at the practice facility up in Frisco, including the Cowboy Club where I had dinner one night, and all of these other things. Dear Lord, they're terrible on the football field, though. And yeah, they have injuries. Everybody has injuries, though. And offensively, they're starting 2 undrafted free agents at the wide receiver position. They don't have a running back, and they've given all their money to one player, and it just confounds me. But right now, that team is not even a 500 team. What I saw yesterday, that's a bad team. And my heart goes out to the Lions fans, which, by the way, represented their team as well as Steelers do, or as well as the Bills do, or the Packers. They were everywhere. But my heart goes out to Aiden Hutchinson, the great Michigan pass rusher, broke his leg yesterday, it looks like, and that could be one of those career enders. And
he shattered his leg. It was one of those that you see. I don't watch the MMA fighting or whatever it's called, where the dude like kicks the guy in the shin and his leg breaks.
Horrifying.
Okay, that's exactly, because he went to take the quarterback down, and his leg swung around off the ground and hit his teammate's knee or the front of his shin, and it just broke the leg in half.
It's just horrifying. And it's just a shame, because the Lions have a real shot this year, QB. That's a real team. And they don't do it with illusions and all the glitter and glamour. They just do it with grit. And that's what the Lions are. They're a gritty, hard-nosed, well-coached, very disciplined, and very effective football team. And they need this guy to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. Now, they'll score points on everybody, but defensively, he's one of the best. He's a TJ Watt. He's a Nick Bosa player. That's what he is. And I hated seeing that for Detroit. And their fans are great. I could not get enough of the Lions fans and how they support their team. And I was hoping the Tigers would win too, but it's going to be the Yankees anyway, son.
Champion recovery with Core Power, delicious high-quality protein to build up muscles and electrolytes to help hydrate. Core Power, replenish, repair, rebuild. We got JC on the Titan More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Well, Scott Carter, we'll talk more Gators with him. G on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, I want Lane, but I don't understand the hype. Guy hasn't won anything. He's been at big-time programs like Tennessee and USC before. Now he's handpicked a roster and losing to inferior opponents still.
Look. LSU's tough on Saturday night, folks.
He lost to Kentucky, but
he did.
Here's the thing. You can say that about every coach that loses games. I mean, you're not going to get a coach who's won all his games, right?
No, you're not.
I mean, pretty much there's only one of those guys out there, and that's Kirby. Speaking of Kirby, we had people here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melvin Law, wants to know our thoughts on that incident of Kirby shoving the Mississippi State quarterback.
I missed that too.
Okay. Yeah, you have to look it up. I don't think Kirby even knew the Mississippi State quarterback was there. He was very upset with his defensive coordinator, and he was running after his defensive coordinator, and the kid was in the way, and he kind of shoved him. I don't make anything of it. The SEC might, but that's how I see it.
It's the heat of that. It's the heat of battle, man. It's the heat of battle. He didn't do anything intentional to a kid. He would never do that. He loves kids. He loves coaching them. And no, I'm with you there, QB.
Yeah,
he's going to have hands full Saturday, though. I'll tell you this.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Gator men's and women's golf team for winning the Barbara Nicholas Invitational up in Columbus. Both of them won. So
wow, way to go!
Kudos to them.
JC.
All right, JC and the women's team both won. All right, let me get to some of these texts on the Titan Mar text line. This is from Daryl. Says, Shane, talking to some of the fans before the game in Knoxville Saturday night, they were afraid we were going to upset them. Our kids played hard, but dumb mistakes killed us. Something has got to change. Yeah, they were booing the crap out of their team. It was unbelievable how loud it was. This is from 386. He says, "Fire Billy now. We as fans understand that making a change won't improve our team any this year. We're just tired of seeing Billy on our sideline running our program." I don't think you're going to see anything.
No, I think you've got them till the end of the year, and then you got to make it to some decisions. And whoever the next guy will be, they're going to owe Billy a lot of money. And apparently, I've been told 100 times they've got it, so it's no big deal. But it is a big deal because you're not only just letting him go, the whole staff, and then of course you're going to bring in 45 new guys and a new coach. So it's Scott. Listen, they cannot let. I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, but it's how I feel. They cannot let Scott Strickland pick the next coach. I'm just going to say that. After 31 games or something like this, Scott Carter would probably know the number, but I read somewhere where over 30 games, he is worse than Muschamp, McElwain, and Mullen. Okay. All three of those guys were fired in year 4, something like that.
Well, yeah, his record's worse than it's way worse than all the coaches that have coached here.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, even Zook.
Yeah, no,
Zook had a winning record.
And it's enough of the he's a nice guy stuff. It's fine. He's being paid $7 million to be a nice guy and learn on the job. And I've had enough, dude. I think everybody has. A good friend of yours and mine down in Tampa, Big Mike. You can't talk to him about it. He won't even talk to you about it. He's had enough. So, and he's a great player. He was a great player for the Gators. Let him coach. Yeah. I'll hire him. I'll call him tomorrow. See if he wants to come coach.
Well, just remember, JC, just because you're a great player does not mean you can coach. Just keep that in the back of your mind.
Okay.
O'Brien says on YouTube,
who can coach. I'm looking at one right now.
YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. He says Florida fans need to relax with Billy because Lane ain't any better, and the roster is young and developing. Restoration takes time, folks.
I think you
shouldn't take this long, O'Brien.
Oh no. You can see when you see 30-something games and you can't make a determination whether or not this is the right guy, then you're not watching hard enough. 30. I mean, what is he? 14 and 17 now? 31 games. Dear Lord,
sounds about right.
Give me a break already. God.
John from the Panhandle on the Titan MR text line says, QB, looking at the SEC basketball tournament, do you think the top 4 teams will still get a double bye? How will they do it now with 2 more teams in the league now? I do know this. So that SEC tournament always started on Thursday. No.
Wednesday.
They had like 2 games on Wednesday, I believe. Then they'd have 4 on Thursday, 4 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Does that sound right, JC?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah. So with the new teams coming in, you'll have 4 games on day 1, just like some of these other conferences. So if you really like basketball, you're going to get a lot of basketball. So about the double bye, I can't answer that. We'll get Chris Harry. I'll get his thoughts on that.
Yeah,
I talked to Chris about somebody asking about the red shirt deal in basketball. He said there really is no red shirt rule. The only way you can pretty much get red shirts if you don't play at all or you apply for an injury deal. But it's not like in football, 4 games or what have you.
Yeah.
So thanks for the text.
Yeah. Geez. I don't know. I'm reading a lot of these YouTubes here. I don't seem to get the Facebook Live ones. I get the YouTube ones. JC, I didn't see Kirby push the kid, but he's totally innocent. That's Ember says that's what I say. Well, I just think he's got good character. I think he's always been
I think the world of Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to say about his players getting arrested and all that.
31 Ember. Come on, 31 Ember. Here's I can't say his name, but he says the Guardians are beating my Yankees. All right, maybe. And then Rod says, good thing we don't play Vandy or South Carolina this year.
Yeah. South Carolina had a quarterback. They'd be a really good football team.
Yes, absolutely would. I think defensive front's as good as anybody in the league. Really. I really do.
Yeah.
And
they have a really good defense, but their quarterback has 0 chance.
He's got no chance. And then Vanderbilt, my God, Clark Lee, coach of the year right now. I mean, totally, right? I mean, who else would it be? He's 4-2, should be 5-1. They should have beaten Missouri. We all know that if you had watched that game. Yeah, they said Vanderbilt. They're building. I used to get all over Vanderbilt for not putting money back into football, and now, of course, that's happening. I guess they watched the podcast and decided to start spending money, right, and put it in the football program. But they are definitely improved, and it's all about that quarterback. But they've also got a lot of older players on that team that've been around a while, and they're pretty good up front too. Belichick to the Cowboys. That's what Mark Phil said. Belichick was here 2 weeks ago. Just keep that in the back.
Did y'all have a meeting? You, him, and Jerry?
I was late. They left, but no, he was here 2 weeks ago. But still, Belichick's not going to solve what ails them offensively. They can't move the football. They're awful on offense. Terrible team. So it's just life, in football. But not my Lions, but the Lions are legit. They are absolutely. So quarterback is so good. Goff, he's so accurate.
He's ridiculous.
So darn good. Gosh. But he was good at the Rams too. He was good at LA when they played the Coliseum.
He's got a great play caller now.
Yes,
Ben Johnson he had a chance to be the Redskins head coach this year, but turned it down. He's very good. Byron said, that's who we need as our coach. We need Ben Johnson to be the Gator coach. Byron says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, QB, does the defense continue to get better, or did they just have a good night? They've gotten better. They've changed up personnel, which they got guys like Brian. What is Brian's name? 33. Brian Taylor, maybe. I during one of the breaks, I asked Sean Kelly and Cardozo, I'm like, when did he start playing? Who is this guy? They couldn't block him, but he hadn't played much this year. We also we've moved Justice Boone inside on passing situations, and he's a much better pass rusher inside. And they've done some better things. However, we've seen two really bad quarterbacks the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're going to see another one this week.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It really is amazing to me how some of these college coaches decide on their quarterback play.
I agree. Like, where does this guy – how is this guy –
I mean, how does Shane Beamer think that guy can win them games in the Southeastern Conference?
It's a mystery to me, QB. I mean, they really probably have nobody else. It's hard to believe, though. It's hard to believe.
I guess. Well, I don't know. It's bizarre to me.
And who is Dyke? We never talked about Dyke before this game ever.
Who?
Florida.
Talked about who?
Dyke caught the last touchdown.
Deke? Chimdike?
Chimdike, yeah.
Yes, he's been one of our top receivers all year long.
We have talked about him.
Yeah, he ran so DJ made a phenomenal play, stepping up in the pocket and throwing before he passed the line of scrimmage. But the play design was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to hear me say that, but I will tell you the play design, and DK ran a phenomenal route.
DK. Okay, DK.
Yeah, Jim DK. He's our punt return. He ran 2 punts back.
Okay.
He averaged like 40-something yards punt return.
Well,
he's a really good player out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, let him play more.
He does. He plays every play, JC.
He does.
He doesn't come out of the game hardly.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
JC, you need to pay more attention.
I've been watching every stinking game. I don't know why.
He's probably our leading receiver. Maybe Badger is, but him and Badger don't even come out hardly. Okay. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union, 1985. Hollywood Joe, New York Jets. Joe Namath, his number 12, was retired on Monday Night Football as they beat the Dolphins 23.
Broadway Joe Willie played at Alabama.
So we have a text here. We got a million texts, but this one's funny. This is JC is 12 beers deep before kickoff, so he's pained. I'm the same.
Here's one from Stephen B. Jr. Napier needs to go. Play calling's terrible. Has no fire. 12-year-old on EA Sports can call better games. I think Lane is the guy. But my dark horse is Ryan Day. If he loses to Penn State, Michigan, bring in Ryan Day.
Okay. So here's my point to that. That I want to bring that up because people always talk about this coach's record against top 10 teams is this. This coach's record against top teams is 2-12. Okay. Check out Ryan Day's. Okay. It's not very good.
Well,
I think he's a very good football. I think he's a very good football coach. I think he's very good.
Damn good football.
He's damn good. Okay. Yeah. Do you think the talk shows the podcast in Columbus, Ohio, are raising hell at him and Chip Kelly today?
Yeah. I mean, I'm certain.
Yeah, they are.
I'm certain they are. I'm also certain that they'll be a playoff team and a factor in the national championship picture. And I'm also absolutely positive that C.J. Stroud, if Harrison doesn't go out, they beat Georgia and win the national championship.
But that's not what I'm talking about, JC. I'm talking
He's
about
a great
right
coach.
now.
I know right now.
So right here, John says Ryan Day is 2-6. He's 2-6 against top 10 teams.
Okay. Well, he's also good enough to win a national championship.
I think he's a very good football coach. I don't worry about people's records. I worry about what my eyes are.
Look, when I'm 14 and 17, I worry about it, QB.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about guys
that said records.
I'm talking about head coaches' records against top 10 teams. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I don't worry about that either.
I watch how they call games, how their teams perform.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get to Scott Carter in here in a second, but somebody asked here about Tank Hawkins. He played a few plays. Mizell played a few plays, but what I did like is we stuck with our top 3 receivers majority of that game. Badger, DK, Trey Wilson. They hardly even came out of the game.
Don't understand what. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I liked Boardingham getting in the end zone. It was nice to see.
Yeah, it was another well-designed pass play. However, I think either Boardingham or Jaden Ball did not run their routes correctly because they were about 3 yards apart from one another. I don't know exactly what the scheme was, but the play design was pretty good.
Well, Artie wants to know how I think Ryan Day is good enough to win a national championship. Just go back and watch the Georgia-Ohio State game where Georgia's getting their asses kicked all day long. Marvin Harrison gets hurt, and then the Ohio State field goal kicker missed a chip shot. They should have won that game, and they would have killed TCU. We all know it. And listen, he had some bad games against Michigan. So what? He's also beaten Michigan before too. So I don't even start with me on Ryan Day. He's an outstanding coach. He's a very, very good. He's a hell of a recruiter. That's another thing. The guy can get kids to come to school at Ohio State, and it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do.
Winning and the history of that program, recruits itself. All right, JC, we got to get to Scott Carter. Right. Have a good day.
Sounds good. See you Wednesday.
That's JC joining us on the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout. We'll be joined by senior writer Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Nest and Wild, Florida Victorious, Electronics World. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogra State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogerinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Back to the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. It's our good friend, Scott Carter, senior writer, FloridaGators.com. What's up, Scott?
Good morning, Shane. Spent a lot of time with you Saturday, man. It was a long day, wasn't it?
That might have been the longest day I've had ever when it comes to game day. It was You and I spent a lot of time in Neyland Stadium, by the way.
That's right. Watched a couple of games, then finally watched the Gators game, and then we got home. What about? I got home, I think, about 3:30 in the morning. I don't even
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
it was.
It was a damn long day. Scott, gosh, our kids played hard. Gators found a way to lose the game. Obviously, it's a lot of things you can go back and say we should have done this, should have done that. If Scott Carter had been calling ball plays or in charge of the program, would you have gone for two?
I think I would. I've always thought about this. Like, if I was the head coach at my introductory press conference, one of my main messages would be, look, guys, one thing you're going to learn about me, I'm always going to try to win the game. I'm never going to try not to lose. And not that that was that situation, but I'm an aggressive. I can live with failing with the 2-point conversion there because I held to my conviction of trying to win. So I can see both sides of the argument. I think just when you're on the road like that and where the momentum was in the game, the Gators were in such a fortunate position to even have that opportunity. Let's just go ahead and see if we can win it and take care of it and send these people home miserable. Instead, you play for you got the overtime, and just the way the second half was going, you knew Tennessee had the momentum, and give Gators credit for having that opportunity. But I would have probably gone for two. But again, I'm not a big armchair quarterback. I mean, I was okay with it, but I'm just saying, if you asked me if I was the coach, I would have gone for two. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If Billy had gone for two and we didn't make it, all hell would be breaking loose today.
Yeah. It'd be like the same thing with, what was it, the Purdue game the other day? They went for two and missed it. But you
Yeah.
know what? I can live with that, man. I mean, you got the chance. I mean, there's 29 seconds left. You just had a huge play, a huge momentum swing, the first one you've had really in the second half. So let's go ahead and see if I can carry it on. But that's, again, I can truly see both sides of this one.
Yeah. Injury wise, obviously Montreal goes out. I'm not sure the extent of his injury. Graham, I don't know exactly what happened, but I think he's done for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Did not look good. It was a freak accident as well.
Yeah.
Any other people banged up that we know of?
No, I mean, I know Gomes went down. He came back. I don't think anything major. I mean, those two are the ones that, Billy will, I'm sure, address right off the bat later this morning. Obviously, you just never, especially in Graham Mertz's case, man, that's just such a kind of, it left you with a little bit of a sick feeling in your stomach because of how much that guy has poured into the program the last couple of seasons, and just a guy that you root for. So hoping for a little miracle there, but it did not look good, obviously, during the moment and after the game.
Everybody's talking about the "scared money don't make money" slogan. I've
Yeah.
not heard that one time since the coach here. I know he said that in an interview at Louisiana,
Yeah.
but that does not sound. I mean, I know he said it, and I know there were T-shirts made up. I even have one, but it's never like AU Gator. What happened to with the "scared money don't make money"? That has never even been mentioned here, has it, Scott?
Yeah. No, that was a Louisiana thing. It was a soundbite during an interview, I think, immediately after the game when the emotion was running high, and he dropped a good soundbite. But I think when you look at what we've seen at Florida and his demeanor, yeah, he's never come into a press conference and said anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was something that people attached to him and got it. It built excitement, obviously, when he first got hired. But yeah, it's not really been a part of his Florida era, I would say.
No, not at all. We had a question here on Facebook. I'm trying to bring it up real quick regarding, I guess, I don't know if it was Graham's injury, but John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, do you think the injuries had to do with Neyland being resurfaced after Morgan Wallen? Well, I walked down there. That was the first place I went when I got to the stadium. It was it was cut so tight. It was a fast track. Now it looked in good shape. There were a few
Mm-hmm.
creases from when they laid the side, but they weren't like deep holes or anything like that. I was surprised at how good a shape it was in. I know we had a couple guys slip and slide here and there. I don't if that had anything to do with the root structure, but I don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't blame the turf. It's just a freak accident that happened to Graham. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I was like you. I was on the field too. The turf looked beautiful to me. Um, hey, man, it's a physical game. There have been, I think, limited instances in the past where turf has been bad at stadiums, and it's always kind of leaned on as perhaps a cause of something like this. I don't sense that in this case at all. Obviously, he did something. He slipped or got his cleat tangled up, but I think that could have easily happened at Wednesday afternoon practice as much as it could have happened, Saturday night in Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, Travis says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, I think if Heupel doesn't take the timeout, we run the 2-point play.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, Billy did say after the game that kind of forced him to rethink that, and he decided to go for the extra point. So, on Tennessee's side, it's probably a good decision to call a timeout there because that formation the Gators got into obviously caused them a lot of chaos. And I think about 100% of coaches I know, if they have a timeout left, they're going to call one in that situation if you're on defense.
F45 training merges 3 leading edge fitness training styles into one 45-minute functional training class. Visit F45training.com to learn more. A few more minutes here with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Blind Squirrel says, I've always heard that Tennessee has terrible field conditions. I would have to disagree with that. I thought the field and the things that they've done to their stadium, I thought was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, if you look around the SEC and you see evolutions of stadiums in the last 25 years or so, I think Tennessee's probably done as good of a job as any with just the fan experience there. The stadium's really nice. As far as the field, again, it was resided. Their SID told me it was 2 weeks ago because that Morgan Wallen concert, I think, was 3 weekends ago. So the next weekend they resided it. So I had 2 weeks to sit there. I don't know if Tennessee practiced on the field at all or anything over those 2 weeks. But again, I don't know. I just think that's one of those things that we're looking to make excuses. I mean, I don't see the turf being a factor in anything that happened in that game. Just unfortunately, Graham Mertz, obviously the hip drop tackle caused the issue with Montrell Johnson Jr. That's just the bad breaks that happen. And Shane, we've been around the team a lot. Obviously, it's kind of indicative of the season. When I look at this game from the Florida perspective, I just feel like it encapsulates a lot of where the program is. I think this was their third chance now to kind of pull an upset during the season, and this was by far their best chance. It didn't happen. I agree with you totally. I thought it was probably their most inspired performance in a lot of ways. Especially on defense. I was impressed by what they did because I do think Tennessee's a lot better than UCF. But again, I don't think Tennessee, I think they may be overranked at this point from what I saw. But they're a challenge anytime you have to go on the road and play up there in that environment. It's a challenge. I thought the Gators answered the call for the most part. It was just some unfortunate sequences that cost them that game. It's one that they're going to probably regret for a long time.
Yeah. Ryan asked on Facebook or YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum. Shane, what exactly is the defense doing differently the last 2 weeks? They look outstanding. Well, we're lucky that their quarterback missed some wide open dudes.
Yeah.
B, we basically kind of, I don't say we loaded the box because we did not do that, but you heard Billy say it, I think at halftime, that we were wanting them to throw the football.
Yes.
That's what we were doing.
They need to take it out of Dylan Sampson's hand as much as they could.
Yeah. So take nothing away. They've played different players too. That's what I will say. Like Brian Taylor, Jaden Robinson's playing more. They moved Justice Boone inside. They've kind of limited certain people playing, and that helps. But we have not faced and I'm not trying to take anything away. Don't even start sending these messages. But let's be honest. KJ Jefferson was horrible. He could not throw the football. And Nico was way worse than I thought he could be. But defense has been great. But I think they're playing different people. And that personnel is helping out in the scheme. That's just what I see.
No, I see some of that too. I mean, the younger players are getting more snaps. I think they've changed some personnel up front, on the defensive line. Uh, and also, I do think, I mean, I don't think in this case, I don't think it can be overemphasized. I think that week during the bye week of getting that pre-snap tempo up on defense and getting guys lined up and staying in position, they're playing a lot more disciplined on defense. I think that's just what I see, and there's some other guys are playing better. I mean, I think Tyreek Sapp's having his couple of best games lately. Those young linebackers, like you mentioned, Robinson's shown up on the stat sheet, and the defensive secondary. While Nico did miss some passes the other night, for the most part, they've been where they needed to be on those plays. So I just think overall, you got to you got to give them credit. They have improved, and that's and some of it I think is players, some of it's coaching. I think they're going Ron Roberts calling the games up in the booth. I think that makes a difference. I think he's probably seeing things better up there. So just a lot of factors.
Rob, you're exactly right. And I even mentioned your comment last week. If you think Nico is any good, you're blind. I mean, look at it. Scott, I meant to write this down because we talked about it on the air before the game. His completion percentage and yardage per attempt and yards in SEC play is abysmal. It's terrible. So,
Yeah.
Rod, I try to be as honest as I can on this program. And Nico has all this hype being paid whatever $1 million he is out of California, but they were booing the hell out of him. Okay. He's not very good. Now, he may light up Alabama because they play a lot of cover zero, but he is not very good. And if you think he is, I would love to sit down with you and you explain to me how you think he's any good. We'll leave it at that. Coy wants to know, was the turf better than you had when I played there? Y'all sure had trouble with great teams on that turf. Well, it's natural grass now. It was basically concrete when we played there. But back in those days, there were two very good football teams with a lot of NFL players on both teams.
Yeah,
in
no
the
doubt.
90s.
And they went to the natural grass actually the year after you finished in '93 is when they installed natural grass there. So it used to be a different, but again, I'm not putting much thought into the turf and what factor it played. I don't think it's a factor, to be honest with you.
John says, what's the difference between Nico and Joe Milton? It looks like the same guy. They are the same guy, in my opinion. Greg says Nico's number 3 in the Heisman odds. There's no way he's number 3 in the Heisman odds. Zero. No way.
No, I mean, he looks to me like a young quarterback with some potential. But yeah, he was not overly impressive. I think, a couple of things I noticed about him is first, he tends to stare down his initial receiver. He just stands there like a statue looking at that guy. If the guy doesn't get open, he looks to run, which is, that's common in young quarterbacks who are still trying to read coverages and go through their progressions. But you look at him, he has obviously some physical attributes that you can understand why there is hype around him. But is he at that point right now in his career? No, not close.
No, the things that stood out to me watching him in person, he looks at one receiver and he doesn't look anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's what he looked right at the dig route or deep curl route. He never even saw Sharif, who's the flat defender, just read his eyes and he threw it right to him.
Yeah.
And then he missed, like I said, if you're at this level, you can't miss those throws that were wide open.
No.
Now, if you're looking for a guy to win you the long ball contest, oh, he's one of your choices now because he can throw the hell out of it.
As we're talking about Nico, I mean, I think Gator fans we're probably going to be talking about some of these same issues with the Gators in coming weeks with DJ Lagway. We're going to see some of these growing pains in him. He made a great throw on that play that tie to the DK at the end of the game, but he also he threw that one bad interception, and he's going to go through some ups and downs. But he obviously, I think, I like his arm better than Nico's. I think DJ throws a real crisp pass, especially in the middle of the field. But we're gonna see some ups and downs with him as he likely takes over here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we are. But what I've seen and what I've seen, DJ's clearly a better quarterback. I
agree.
Because he's very intelligent. He has a good feel for the game. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, a few more minutes here, Scott. Let's see. Artie says, win or lose, it's the most uninspired football Florida has seen in 30 years. Kids don't look like they honor the school properly with effort. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I thought we played very hard.
Yeah, I disagree with that assessment. Now, earlier in the season, there were, against Miami and Texas A&M, I thought they lacked some fire that I wanted to see. But really, the last few weeks, I think they've come with it when they've needed it, and I can't blame anything on the effort in that loss to Tennessee. I mean, you hear about coaches. You saw yesterday, you got big news with like the Jaguars. One of their players said he saw a lot of quit on that team. I didn't see any quit on the Gators on Saturday night. And that's a sure sign when things are really, really bad. I haven't seen that with this team. How that plays out the rest of the season, I don't know. But just from being around this group, I mean, it's a bunch of pretty good guys on the team, and I don't think it's obviously the most talented Florida team we've ever seen, but I do think they have some high character guys, and you just hope that they can win some games and make it memorable for them, because that was the kind of loss that, man, it's just going to sit with you for a while, because they in that locker room, they know they should have won that game.
Yeah, for sure. Levi on YouTube brought to you by Quadcom says, Shane, I appreciate what Mertz did for us. He was a pleasant surprise from day one. But how valuable is the playing experience DJ and UF is about to get going to be going forward, especially with a new head coach coming? Well, A, we don't know if a new head coach is coming. B, we don't know if DJ will be here or will be somewhere else next. You don't even know if our center is going to be here next year. That's the thing about football nowadays with the transfer portal.
Well,
right, Scott? I mean,
you're right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say one thing. I do fully expect Jake Slaughter to be back regardless, because he's
yeah.
I know I'm messing with you. I'm just
he's
messing
right
with
down.
you.
He's from Ocala, so yeah, I think Jake will be back next year.
But you're right. There's so much change in each year in college football. There's going to be new faces every year from here on out, as long as this current system stays in place. So if you don't like change, you're probably not going to want to pay a lot of attention to college football in the coming years. But having said, I think his question was about DJ Lagway. Yeah, I mean, this is only going to help him, and hopefully down the road it helps the Gators. We'll see how it plays out. But certainly, when you're at this stage of his career and you're getting these reps in this kind of situation, like Saturday night at Tennessee in front of 102,000 people with the game on the line, that's invaluable for him as far as his experience. I mean, his learning curve just increased significantly on Saturday night, Shane. So again, we don't know how it's going to play out in the future, but if DJ Lagway is here and is the Gators starting quarterback next year, that's a good thing for Florida.
Yeah, and honestly, watching him play, he is as composed of any true freshman quarterback I think I can ever remember in college football. He's in complete control when he's out there.
Yeah, I've turned 180, man. I didn't know what to make of him after fall camp, because I just saw some things in scrimmages like didn't leave me impressed. But once the lights go on, man, I mean, he's been very impressive. And
yeah,
I do love his composure. I love his arm. I love his confidence. I like the fact that he's dual threat. He can beat you with his feet too. I think the key will just be for him to see more and more situations that he's going to face throughout his career and to learn to manage those in a better way. But all the talents there, all the intangibles are there from what I see.
Yeah, he just, like I said, I think we probably would think differently or would have thought differently going into the year if we didn't watch him practice. I watch him practice. I'm like, we can't put him in the game.
I was there with you. I mean, I just didn't think, I thought some things in his mechanics were off, and just and of course I know in those scrimmages, they're not showing it full scale, that he's limited because he's probably not tuned up as much as he needs to be, because he knows he's not going to get hit. But again, once he came in under the lights this season, he's impressed me a lot.
Yeah, he's a totally different player in game action. Last thing for you, Scott, get out of here. Got a text on the Titan our text line from Monty. Wants to know who number 2 is behind DJ. Isn't it Aiden Warner?
Aiden Warner, yep, he was number 2. We saw him play, I think, a little bit in the Sanford game, maybe.
Yeah.
One of those early games. Yeah, he's number 2. They also have Clay Millen still back there, the transfer from Colorado State, who started 10 games for them a couple of years ago. So they have experience with him. They have the young guy in Warner, who I think played down in Winter Park before he went up to the Ivy League and transferred here. So they have some bodies behind him, but again, just feel bad for Mertz, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Scott, appreciate your time, my friend. We'll see you in the press box Saturday night.
Yeah, not as long this time, but good deal. See you,
That's right.
Shane.
I'm going to see you about 30 minutes before the game, not 7 hours before the game.
That's right. That's right. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Scott. That's Scott Carter joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians, great fruit and southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida, floridacracker.com. Appreciate everybody chiming in today. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.